Okay, Robbie Mook is the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton. He's going to go on television and try to defend her. It's not going to work out well, but I need to give you the context first. There is another email from the WikiLeaks where they're talking about the speech that Hillary Clinton is set to give. It is to the King of Morocco, King Mohammed VI, and it is in 2015, and it's going to happen just as she's about to launch her campaign. And in return, King Mohammed is going to give $12 million to the Clinton Foundation. Now, maybe he's giving that because, golly gee, he thought that is the best time to fight global poverty. Or maybe he thinks, well, Hillary Clinton might become president very soon, and giving $12 million to her foundation to do whatever the hell they want with it might help my country. Now, that would be a rational calculation on the part of the King of Morocco, but perhaps not the direction we want to go for the person who, even in 2015, had a very good chance, we all knew had a very good chance of becoming president. You might not want to take $12 million from the leaders of other countries. So and even her own staff knows this is problematic. What are you doing? Right before Huma Abedin, her top aide, emails the other people on the staff and says, and this first line is critical. She says, this was HRC's idea, meaning Hillary Rodham Clinton. This was Hillary's idea. Our office approached the Moroccans, and they 100% believe they are doing this at her request. The king has personally committed approximately $12 million, both for the endowment and to support the meeting, and it will break a lot of China to back out now when we had so many opportunities to do it in the past few months. See, sometimes we think it's the staff that is corrupting Hillary Clinton. No. It's actually Hillary Clinton's idea. You see it in the WikiLeaks over and over again. Hillary Clinton is the one saying, take the money, take the money, take the money, take the money, okay? And even her own staff that works for this incredibly corporatist Democrat, they're like, no, please don't do that. That looks so bad. We'll take the money later or some other thing. But then right before we're going to launch the campaign, you're going to take $12 million from King Mohammed VI? So finally, they convinced her not to do it. But she replaces herself with Bill Clinton and Chelsea Clinton. They send them to meet with the King of Morocco and give a speech or whatever, and they get the $12 million anyway. So now Robbie Mook's going to go on Fox News, and Chris Wallace is going to hold him to account. And there's several lines here that I think are really worth noting. Let's watch.
Clinton Global Initiative had this meeting scheduled in Morocco.
But it was the big money from a foreign person to the foundation at the time she was running for president.
This was, as you can see in those emails, this was a scheduling matter, and we didn't want her going overseas. I didn't want her going overseas before the campaign was kicking off. But again, these are stolen documents, stolen by the Russians. It's now confirmed from John Podesta. They are being put out for exactly this purpose.
Well,
the Russians and Donald Trump want this campaign to be about something else right now.
Well, let me just speak to that, though, because, you know, the Trump tax returns were stolen as well when they were mailed to the New York Times. You guys didn't object to that. In fact, you jumped all over them.
Well, we don't know where those tax returns come from.
Well, they weren't. They were clearly stolen.
We don't know, and you'd have
to work with the New York Times on that. Do you think that Trump had given them?
I don't know. I don't know how they got to the New York Times.
I guess what I'm saying is if we're looking at the fruits of that theft, and I will call it a theft, it's fair to look at the fruits of your theft.
I think what's particularly disturbing in this situation is that the intelligence community has now confirmed that John Podesta's emails and the DNC emails were stolen by the Russians.
I know about the Russian connection. I'm talking about the $12 million from the King of Morocco and the fact that this continues to sort of show the line between private and public and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation.
I think we got to look at what decisions were made. There was a meeting in Morocco. Secretary Clinton decided not to go focus on her campaign here. And again, we're having this discussion because the Russians want us to.
Chelsea Clinton went, correct?
My understanding is that they did go, but she did not. And again, this is the discussion the Russians want us to be having. They stole this information. They're selectively leaking. I can't even verify any of the information that you have there. We simply don't have enough time as a campaign
I promise you, if these were not true, you'd tell us.
The Russians. Oh, my God, it's the Russians. Pivot. No. Okay, look, you want to investigate whether the Russians did it? Bless your heart. I'm looking forward to that investigation as well. That doesn't mean that the emails aren't true. I think Chris Wallace had the best line at the end there. He's like, trust me, that if they weren't true, you'd have told us they weren't true. You'd have been breathing fire. You would have been shouting it from the rooftops. It is true. So, and Wallace with another good point, honestly, I hadn't thought of. The Trump tax returns, we don't know how the New York Times got them. I actually believe, and I did it at the time, there's some chance that schmuck Trump sent it in. So they might not be stolen. But if Trump didn't send it in, well, then somebody took them without permission, right? And Robbie Mook and the entire Clinton campaign want us to talk about that endlessly. When it comes to their own documents, which are true, oh, no, the Russians, don't you shish, they're stolen. Whatever you do, don't talk about it. Yeah. This is how the Clinton Foundation worked. We do you a favor, you do us a favor. You give us $12 million, and when I'm Secretary of State, maybe I look at Morocco a little bit more favorably. Or in this case, since Morocco $12 million thing happened in 2015, if I become president, I look at you a little bit more favorably. You think the King of Morocco wants to alleviate poverty? Then why doesn't he spend $120 million in his own country alleviating poverty? Why doesn't he give it to another charity? You know why he's giving it to this charity. Anyone with 2 bits of sense knows why he's giving it to the Clinton Foundation, because he would like to curry favor with the Clintons, because Hillary Clinton might become the next president of the United States. Anything else insults our intelligence, Robbie, so get real. Okay, so Huffington Post points out that Hillary Clinton's defense has got another problem. The argument has troubled many Democrats who note that the campaign's defense relies on the weak definition of corruption outlined in Supreme Court's 2010 Citizens United decision. The idea there is, it's because, hey, wait a minute, Citizens United says if you can't show quid pro quo, then it wasn't corruption after all. Well, hey, you don't have me giving anything back to Morocco yet. It must not be corruption. No, that's the Republican talking point. Progressives believe that if you have an appearance of corruption like this, and by the way, oftentimes, and yes, with the Clinton team, it is changed votes like the bankruptcy bill. It is corruption itself. But even the appearance of corruption is deeply problematic. And here's the Clinton team going, nope, not problematic at all. Just take the $12 million and take whatever money that the bankers throw at you, foreigners throw at you. No, I don't see any problem. Supreme Court's right. The Republicans are right. Money doesn't corrupt us at all. Money has no corrupting influence. It destroys the progressive case. Finally, again, Huffington Post makes a good point about that this has happened many times, not just once. They explain in another case previously reported by HuffPost, staffers had to repeatedly appeal to Hillary Clinton to cancel a paid speech by her husband to Morgan Stanley, that's one of the top banks, that had been scheduled to take place just 3 days after her campaign's official launch. She initially resisted the entreaties from her aides before finally submitting to political sanity. It's not her staffers, it's not even the system as much as it is her. She's like, nope, take the $12 million from the king, take $3 million from the bankers. It shows, number one, unbelievable hubris. I'm going to win no matter what. I'm running against Bernie Sanders. I'm going to win. Who cares? Just take the money. Do it brazenly. 3 days after I launch, rub their face in it. Just take the $3 million from the bankers. Hubris. Secondly, she thinks taking money from these guys is awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to keep on taking that money. And yes, as we've shown over and over again, she's going to keep on delivering for them. That's why she's still against reinstating Glass-Steagall. Glass-Steagall asks something very simple. By the way, it kept our banking system stable for about 40 years after it was passed during the New Deal. It just says, you can gamble, bankers. Have at it, Hoss. But you just gamble with your money. You can't gamble with depositors' money. Hillary Clinton says, no. I want you to be able to gamble with depositors' money. Why? No, the millions of dollars I got from the bankers has no influence on me at all. Even our own staffers are like, don't be crazy. She's like, shut up. I've gotten away with this corruption for 40 years. You think they're going to catch on to it now? No, Robbie, get out there and lie to people and tell them, it's the Russians. Look away, whatever you do. Don't look at the obvious clues as to the systemic corruption that this entire team is bathed in. But the leadership comes from the top. And then you wonder why we might have concerns about Hillary Clinton. It doesn't mean that we're in favor of Donald Trump. He is a monster of a different variety. But if Hillary Clinton becomes president, as the polling indicates, if you think she's going to change this attitude, you got another thought coming to you. It's not an aberration. It's who she is. It doesn't come from her staffers. It doesnn't come from all the people influencing her. It comes from the very top. She's not a secret liberal or progressive. This is who she is.